Okay, so we're just waiting for M to get on. If you guys have any questions ahead of time that you've thought of, just go ahead and if you want to type them, or you can, yeah, it's better if you type them. This way it's easier for me to keep track of them and remember them. So go ahead and type any questions you have on the side. Hey, Steph. So my hope for this is that you guys get to hear from a different successful distributor. You know, we're going to go over story, you know, everything like that. Before you joined us, Steph, I was just giving everybody a little bit of a background. So M is what we call a sideline sister. She's actually all of our presidential diamonds, one of her other double diamonds. And her page is straight up fire. It's amazing. Her lifestyle posts are incredible. Let me see if she's on here, because if she is, I'm blushing. No, not yet. Okay. So I think she's also going to have some people from her team hop on here as well. Super exciting. If you have any questions at all, just go ahead and type them in the side. Hey, Britt. Also, I've been running around like a lunatic today, so this whole mess that's happening, don't judge me. It's a nightmare. Hey.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, sorry, I'm like in my kitchen, a hot mess.
Oh,
Hi.
no, please. I told you. Did I disappoint? I'm looking a hot mess too. I just gave them the whole disclaimer, like,
I look cuter on Instagram, I swear.
oh, stop. You look cute now.
How are you?
Good, good. So I gave everybody a little bit of a backstory. I said that, you know, we're both sidelines under Allison Chastain. And I noticed that you were just like commenting like left and right on that one post that she was having, where we were like listing out like when we got a distributor or a loyal customer. I was like, I gotta check out this girl's page. I feel so bad because everyone started adding you.
No, I didn't know what happened. I was like, did I put a post up? Like something, and I was like, oh, so many potentials. And I was like, wait, no.
Oh, womp womp. No, but yeah, your page is great. And the one thing I noticed was your ability to do lifestyle posts in a way that's not like overly corny, and like it still is, you know, you can feel something when you read it. And I know that sometimes distributors, especially when they're new, they struggle with like, how do I write a lifestyle post? Do I always have to make it super, you know, campy or whatever? And I just love your style of doing that. So I don't know if you had any tips for how you got started, or maybe you can give us a little bit of your backstory.
Yeah, of course. So I joined about a year and almost 2 months ago. I joined at the end of the previous January. I just had somebody follow me on Instagram that was doing It Works, and I followed her for about a month, I think. And I was like every potential's dream. I just messaged her one day and I was like, how do I sign up? And she said it and I just did it. Like I was very impulsive, like questions. Like I just was like, all right, let's try it. I had followed a couple top leaders. I know I had followed like Ashley Hughes on Instagram and other people. And it's funny because I watched them for so many months and then ended up signing with this one girl. And I think she was just a Ruby leader at the time. Because I guess I related more to her. And I was like, you know, like it's more easy to relate to somebody that's not, you know, making $50,000 a month. So I ended up joining her team. My dog is drinking Brody. My first month, I think I signed like 3 customers. And I was nannying. I was a retail manager. I was broke as a freaking joke. I signed like 3 customers my first month. And then at the end of my first month, it was right after conference. So he announced all the bonuses. And I was like, okay, like I need to try to get these. And I just like, it clicked in my head and like I got to work. I worked really, really hard. That second month in, I went from a distributor to Emerald in that 1 month. And I had signed up my boyfriend at the time. So I promoted to Emerald and I promoted him to Ruby. So we got, I think it was the $2,000 Emerald bonus and then $2,000 Ruby bonuses. And so that second month after I promoted, I actually quit my job full time, which everybody thought I was like absolutely insane. But I've been home ever since then. The second month I promoted to Emerald, and then the next month I hit Diamond and got the $10,000 bonus. And then in October, I promoted to Double Diamond. So, and I've been there ever since. I am almost pushing very hard. Not there yet. It's definitely a big, but that's basically my story. My life has been kind of a roller coaster the past 4 to 5 months since I promoted to Double. And it's kind of like I promoted to Double and like God knew that I needed it because I ended up going through a really bad breakup and I was like completely on my own. Like he had paid most of my bills always. So I was completely on my own and we had the breakup and I actually hopped on a plane the next day and flew to Kansas where the girl who signed me lives because she had become my best friend, which is also funny. And I now live in Kansas. So I completely moved here just because the people that I did it works with lived here. So I financed myself to move across the country. And it's been crazy and it's been a blessing and the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I think that's mainly my story. I run everything off of social media, like I'm sure most of you guys do also. But I think that's it for my story wise.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
And I love that. I love what you said about the whole, I joined her when she was a Ruby. I related more to somebody who wasn't making $50,000 a month because I feel like a lot of distributors feel like, well, how am I going to get other distributors if I'm not like this rock star, you know, ambassador diamond, no one's going to join me. And that's just not the case. People don't believe that. They believe you know, somebody at home making $500 a month is still inspiring, you know.
Exactly. I don't even think she had like posted about what rank she was or anything. Like, I guess I just followed so many people for so long, like that were higher ranks. And then she ended up following me on Instagram. So that like clicked with me and I was like, okay. And I literally just messaged her and joined. Like I said, she's my best friend. She literally lives 2 minutes from me. So it's crazy that I like moved across the country because of her.
That's amazing.
Crazy. And a lot of their team, because it's her, she's my direct upline, her name is Michaela. And then the woman who signed her is also here. So a big majority of our team is in the exact town that I live in, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome. So, and you mentioned that, so you're big on Instagram, and I know a lot of our team, myself included, actually, like Instagram kind of isn't the main, you know, bread and butter of our businesses, but we want it to be. It just seems a little overwhelming. Do you have any tips for getting started promoting your business, or any do's or don'ts in regards to working on Instagram?
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, 1 second. So
I understand, girl.
There we go. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Sorry, my popped up. So yeah, when I started, I had always been on Instagram, which is why I think I kind of had, I don't want to say I had a leg up by any means, but I understood social media in that aspect. I hadn't done like full fashion blogging, but I'd always loved Instagram. So I have that issue a lot of times when people come to me that want to join my team, even if they find me through Instagram, you know, they're like, well, I don't have as many followers as you do, or like, I don't know if that's how, like, if I would be able to sell stuff or if I want to find people because I don't have followers. And I always tell them the same thing, that it's not about the quantity of it, it's the quality. So as long as you're consistent on it and you actually are making relationships with people, you can still be successful whether you have, you know, 500 followers or like 5,000. So for me, when I join my girls to my team, I keep it very, very simple. I basically have like a to-do list that I have them do on Instagram every day that, you know, they do it. But on a daily basis, all I'm doing is posting. On Instagram, I normally post 3 to 5 times. So I'll do, I don't really do the 3 for 3 rule. I do like one product post. I do one like direct join my team post. I do one post showing what It Works has done for me, you know, whether I'm buying groceries or, you know, spending whatever it may be. Like that. And then I do 2 like completely non-It Works related posts just to keep my feed not looking like an ad. So I post every day. I add about 100 people a day on Instagram. It's a little bit different now because I started to use Instagram. I don't know if you guys use that. Okay, so it's a website and it's called Instagress. So it's like Insta and then G-R-E grass. So it's Instagress. And what that actually it does for you is while you're not on Instagram, it actually follows people and can comment on people's pictures for you. So it's technically building your network while, you know, you're sleeping or while you're not on it. And you can plug in, you know, certain hashtags for it to search through, or, you know, certain people that you want it to follow that are related to. Like, let's say I find a girl's profile and I really, really like her. I'll put her in that category so it'll follow people like her. You know, maybe friends of her, people that have the same interests, whatever it may be. And it'll like people's pictures. It'll follow people for you. It unfollows for you. It's literally amazing. I believe that you can do, I want to say it's like a 3-day trial where it'll do it for you and you don't have to pay anything. And then after that, it is $10 a month, I believe, where it can run throughout the entire month. But to me, that's totally worth it because especially if you work another job, it's growing your network for you and it's doing it for you. So that has helped me a ton because I used to, like I said, I used to spend time, you know, following and interacting with more people, but that's actually done that for me so that I can have more time to grow my business on Facebook, which I just started doing because I never really did that before. But that's one big thing. So whether you decide to use that or not, just making sure that you're adding people every single day and just being interactive, commenting and liking, and making sure you're unfollowing people that don't follow you back. And my biggest tip is just to make it look pretty. As long as your Instagram is pretty and appealing, it's going to draw people to it. I personally do not post before and afters on my Instagram, and I never have, which I know a lot of people find really, really weird. I don't think I've ever posted before and after since I started, which is odd. But I just try to make it look like a magazine. I try to, you know, just put the same edit on every single picture. I use Pinterest like it is nobody's business. As you know, my life is not as pretty as my Instagram, like I said. So I use that just to, you know, find pretty pictures, whether it be for, you know, a product model post or whatever it may be. But as long as you make it look appealing and you make it cohesive by using, I know a lot of people use like Pick-Tap-Go. I personally use VSCO Cam, which is just a photo editing app that you can, you know, just pick and edit just like you would on Instagram. But I use that and I put the same edit on every single picture just so it looks cohesive because that draws people to it. And that's just my biggest tip is to make it look pretty. And, you know, I'm in no way hiding what I do. Like, I love this company. I love everything about it. But when I follow someone, I don't want someone to ever be like, oh, I'm not going to follow back because, you know, it has It Works written all over it. I try to make it look, you know, just like I'm a business owner and I'm clearly running something on Instagram, but it's not, you know, completely all lime green. And so people don't really know. That's my biggest tip is just to get on it and get active. The more that you comment, the more that you like, the more that you post, you're going to build those relationships. So, you know, what a good tip of mine is even if you just follow 20 people a day, you know, write those 20 people down on a list. And for the next like 3 to 4 days, just make sure that you're going to their pages and making sure that you're staying up to date on liking what they posted and commenting. Just so you can build those relationships. And then it's just like Facebook where that'll actually make you pop up in their newsfeed more with the algorithm. So that's one of my biggest tips is just to stay active. And, you know, it's like anything with this business, the more effort you put into it, the more results you're going to see. So the more time you spend on Instagram, you know, liking, commenting, following, messaging people, just like Facebook, the more, you know, interaction you're going to get from it. So I would have, those are probably my biggest tips with Instagram that I tell my new distributors to do.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, I love that. You know, it's so important to have everything cohesive looking. And I say to people, you got to think of your social media as like your storefront. You know, you
Yeah.
want people to come inside and ask more questions and want to know about what you're doing, because you want the outside to look appealing. That's an awesome tip. I like that about not posting the before and afters. You know, I feel like a lot of us are kind of bred to believe like you have to do your 3-3 and everything. And honestly, like, there's before and afters, things have kind of changed. I feel like there's been a change in social media.
They do have on Instagram, I haven't personally used it, but my upline has, which is amazing. They have this new thing where, let's say that I put like a product model post, let's say like a hair model post. So if I put that up on Instagram, let me just go to my page, find one. So like this, like it's just a picture of like braid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's like that, but when you go to upload it, there's this new setting where it's called select multiples, So this will be the picture that everyone sees, but if they swipe it, you can put a before and after there also. So when you're looking at I know, mind blown, right? I did not know
Amazing.
that. So when people look at your page, it's not like, oh, that's a before and after. But you know, in the title, you could put like, oh, I need hair models, like swipe right if you want to see like my latest like customers results or whatever. So you can actually put them there without it being in the front of it, which is amazing. So that's definitely
absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that's completely new, but as long as you update your app, it should be there where it says like select multiples, and you can just click it and add as many pictures as you want into the one post, which is crazy.
Awesome. So do you have any tips in terms of where you find the people to follow? I know for me, I mean, granted, I'm learning Instagram. It's not my jam yet. But finding actual people to follow, for me at least, has been a little bit difficult. And then do you add people who have theirs set to private?
Okay, so when I'm just finding people, I use my explore feed a lot, just because I've like been following people on Instagram for so long. It's kind of getting to suggest to me the type of people that I want, but hashtags are literally your best friend. So whatever you're interested in, that's what you search. Like for me, like I'm 22 and I'm single, so like I'm not gonna look up like mommy hashtags or anything like that, but whatever's, you know, close to your heart and what you do. Like I have a dog, so I'll look up the hashtag of the breed of dog he is and like find the other people that are posting their dog, or whether it be fashion or makeup or whatever, you know, I'm into, or my hobbies. Searching through hashtags is amazing because it's literally endless the people you can find. And you want to find people that are like you, because that's who you know you're going to click with best. So I do that, and I also do like location tags. So anywhere that I go, if I'm like out of the town that I live in, I always look up like the closest Starbucks location and see who's posted there or checked in there or anything like that. And I mean, even if you're home on your couch, you can literally look up any location you want. You can even look up a random city, United, people who have like checked in there. So if you're like, oh, I don't have, you know, a distributor in Texas or wherever, maybe you can literally look up just like a town in Texas and see everyone that's posted signing in there. So that's I like search. I just get down and I scroll and I just try to find people that are like me. So I would just search whatever hashtags that relate to you the most. And what was your second question? I forgot.
Do you add people who are set to private?
I do, not a ton, because normally if I'm like sitting down in a following spree where I'm really setting out a half hour, like I'm going to follow people, I don't normally. But if I am, let's say I found a girl that I really liked and I followed her and I want to follow other people like her, and I just go to her recent post and her likes to follow people, I will follow people that are private, but not normally when I'm like searching through. But Instagram will follow private people for you. So I really don't think it matters as long as you stay on top of your unfollowing the people that don't follow you back. I think it's totally fine to do either.
Cool. Awesome. Good stuff. I'm excited now to dive into Instagram a little bit more. It's kind of like uncharted territory for a lot of us. We rely so heavily on Facebook, but I love that. Thanks so much.
No, I've always been on Instagram, and now I'm like diving into Facebook. So now I'm like trying to
Oh, girl, I'm your girl. If you need help with Facebook, that's my jam.
Oh.
Okay, awesome. So, and then I just wanted to ask you a little bit about how you decide to write your lifestyle posts and how you kind of figured out how to brand yourself in terms of in terms of the opportunity.
Definitely. So when I started, I mean, I was like everybody else. I just used whatever posts were given to me and, you know, or that I found through top leaders. And I still will use, like, if I find a post I like, I'll use it. I mean, I'll obviously tweak it to fit me, but I do find that I get the most responses out of the ones that I actually sit down and write myself. And it is more time consuming, and like I can have brain farts for like 20 minutes and not know what to say. But I find that, like I said, the more you put effort into it, no matter what it is, the more results you get. So if I sit down, you know, I write out this post and I think about it and I really put myself into it, I find that I'll get like 5 more comments than I would have if I didn't. So for me, my brand changed a little bit. I was branded as, and that's what my Facebook business page was, I was the stay-at-home girlfriend, because I was 22 and like in a long-term relationship, but like not married, but I was staying home working. So that's basically what I was. And then that didn't work out so well. So I kind of turned my brand into like you don't need a man, you can be independent. So it's changed a lot, but for me, it's just being honest with who you are and what it's done for you. And you might think that when you like type stuff out, you might think it sounds weird. You might think that it sounds silly, or that, you know, it doesn't sound as good as a post that you had, you know, gotten off of a top leader's page. But your followers, especially if you guys are on Facebook, they know you mainly. So like they can tell when it's you talking. And 9 times out of 10, there's going to be more than one It Works person that's in their friends list. So especially if you're like just posting ones that other people have, they normally know. So I just try to keep it very simple, very honest. Like today, I got a fast start bonus. And so I took a picture of it and I put it on a picture of like this cute sweater, this girl wearing it. It was not me. And said that I was just sitting on my couch watching TV, because that's what I was doing. And, you know, I got my fast start bonus, and, you know, how would it be if you could earn an extra, you know, $100 to $400 before payday? And, you know, who would be interested in earning an income from their phone? Question mark. Just like comment below. Like I keep it very simple. I don't overcomplicate it. I always just explain what I'm doing or what It Works has done for me. And then like, do you want me to help it do that for you also? So I never, you know, overcomplicate it or talk about ranks or crazy dollar amounts or anything like that. I find it when I get the most responses is when I'm just like, you know, hey, like, would you want to earn money from your phone also? Like, comment yes below. So I just try to keep it myself. But definitely as you start to write your own posts, you get more of a hang of it. But I just always, you know, just keep it as to what you're doing. Be like, hey, you know, I got to do this today because, you know, I earned my phone because of the bonus that I got. And like, would you want one also? It comes, you get your own style when you start writing, definitely. And like I said, I don't write all of them, but the more you are and like the less formal you are, I feel you get the most responses out of, because you don't want to be intimidating, like you're this like huge businesswoman and like they can't do it or they can't make money like that. So I keep it just like as simple as I possibly can. And just be like, hey, like I was in the bath and I just signed a customer. Like she might not know that, and that might feel weird to her, but like, hey, like that's how I work. Like I literally put that post up the other day. I was like, I found this girl on Greens. I said, well, I was in my bubble bath. I'm like, she may not know that, and that might be weird. And I was like, but I did, because that's how easy my job is. So just try to put your personality into it. Just keep it like as simple as you can. You know, don't overcomplicate it with the ranks, and you know, you don't have to mention the bonuses every post. Just very simple, just what it's doing for you or what you've done today because of it. And like, do they want you to help them also? If that kind of is your question.
Awesome stuff. In terms of your conversations with potential distributors, I like to get away from the scripted stuff so much, and I feel like your posts are very much like, I can completely tell your personality like through the ones that you've written. How do you go about your conversations with people? Do you have any any do's or don'ts when it comes to talking to potentials?
I try to keep it as simple as I can, and I try to act like their best friend. So I mean, I definitely do use like scripts per se, but I still just like it changes by conversation, by person. But I keep it literally as simple as I can, and whether they've messaged me or I'm messaging them off a post, whatever it may be, I literally just say like, hey, like, are you interested in making extra income from your phone? And if they say yes, like I'll say, okay, like, have you heard of It Works Global? And then I'll give like a little synopsis about what it is. And if they're like, oh, that's awesome, or like, you know, I haven't heard of that, or those products sound great, whatever it may be. I just say like, yeah, like that's literally my job. I just share the products and the opportunity on Facebook and I talk to people. And I said, I get to help people all day. And it's literally as simple as that. And I said, and I train the girls on my team to do the same thing. So I just keep it very, very simple. I don't want to overwhelm them, like I said, with ranks or like talking about anything like that. And I always try to make it personal. So after I kind of give just like a synopsis of what I do, I always ask them what they do for a living, or like if they're currently working or what their job is. And then I ask them how much extra money a month would help them out, just so I can have an idea. And then at that point, that's when you could say like, oh, well, like, that's awesome, you know, because that's what a Ruby makes. And I can get you there just by you following these same 3 steps. And I can help you do that, you know, within your first 30 to 60 days. So it definitely varies by person, but the conversations are all similar. I just try to throw my personality in and always make sure to ask about them, because I want them to feel like it's about them. Like I never want them to feel like I need them to join for me. It's like, what can I do for you? And that's what I find the best luck with my conversations, is just asking them about themselves. And once you open it up to like what they do and what they want to make, I feel like it makes it flow easier, because everyone wants like you to ask them questions about them. You know what I mean? Because it's not just about you. So it's semi-scripted. Like every conversation kind of goes the same, but the personalities are there with me trying to connect.
Awesome stuff. Okay, so I think the last question I have for you, and then I guess we'll open it up for anybody else who has any other questions or wants us to kind of, you know, delve in deeper. But my question is, if you could go back and tell, you know, Em, from your first day, something you've learned now, what would you have done differently, or what would you have advised yourself back then?
I would have told myself that nobody's opinions are going to pay your freaking bills, and that not to be afraid to post. You know, when I started, I was posting, but it wasn't a ton, and it was very like vague, because I was like embarrassed to post, which I don't know why I was, because I decided to join, you know, it was my choice, but I was very, very afraid of what people would think. And I would just say to not be, because like I said, nobody's going to pay your bills. And if I had like not done this then, and I had not, you know, jumped in and just like completely went head first to work my business and to stop caring what people thought, like I don't even know where I'd be right now, because it's not even like the paycheck and the rank and whatever it may be, but the amount that I've changed as a person and grown through personal development and just being on the team, like, is insane. And it's made me a better person in and out. But I would just say not to be afraid of what people are going to think, and to not overcomplicate it, to just start where you are. Even if you feel like you don't know what you're doing, just start. And that's like the best advice that I can ever give. And don't be afraid to ask stupid questions, because no question is stupid. So, because I was definitely afraid to ask my upline some things when I started, and like I word vomited on so many people because I didn't do that. So
Girl, me too.
Yeah, like paragraph. So like, don't ever be afraid to ask. Like it's never stupid, and never be embarrassed of what you're doing, because like this can change your entire life, and nobody else is going to pay your bills, and nobody else that has that opinion is going to give you what this company can give you. And I can do that in probably 4 to 5 months, they're going to be joining your team anyways. So just don't ever be afraid. Just completely go for it, and then it'll change your life.
Awesome stuff. I love that. I've actually heard that from a distributor recently. They're like, I don't know, I'm embarrassed to post too much. I don't want to annoy people. And I'm like, girl, you should have seen what I was posting a year ago. I've come a long way.
It's because it's foreign, and like what we do is weird. You know, it's not normal. It's not going to a job. It's different. But, and what I always said to myself, and like how I kind of got myself over that, is even if someone like sees a post and they're like, oh, there she goes again, like 2 seconds later, they're no longer even thinking about you, because like you're not that big of a part of their life, if that makes sense. So you have to worry about you and what's best for you. And then whatever somebody negatively thinks, like in 2 seconds, they're thinking about something else in their life. So it's not that big of a deal. That's what I always said.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome stuff. So does anybody have, you can, if you're scared to like use the microphone and talk or whatever, you can type it in the chat feature. If anybody has any questions or wants to elaborate on anything, or in the meantime, I just want to tell you, that's amazing that you picked up and moved. Like, props to you.
That's part of, you know, how much I've grown with the company, because I had like horrible anxiety before I started. And I wasn't antisocial by any means, but I had been in that relationship for so long that I was very dependent on it. And like, if we were even apart for like a night, like I couldn't, like I would freak out. And so now like people look at me, because I remember when I first joined, like I said, it was right before conference, and my upline went to conference, and I was like, I would love to go, but like I'm like afraid, like I wouldn't want to leave him, like I would, like I don't think I could go a week without like seeing him or like being with him, because like I'd lived with him for so many years. And like now I'm like I literally moved by myself, and I'm like I could care less.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That just shows, you know, like people think that this whole thing is all about money and everything. But I tell people all the time, I'm like, you know, even if you're making decent money, you don't have to be a millionaire, but have you met people that are like-minded? Have you grown at all? Have you learned something new? Is this considered a hobby to you? Because even if I didn't make another dollar, it's like I consider the emotional aspect of what we do to be one of the biggest pulls of this whole thing.
And that happened, and like we ended up you know, going our separate ways. Like my upline was the first person I called. She was like, just get on a plane. And I was like, okay. Like I didn't think to call anyone else. So the friendships you can make with this, it's like absolute, complete insanity, and it'll change your entire life in that aspect too. And it's so much more than money, like you said, so much more.
Absolutely. So Sherelle, I'm going to actually, Sherelle had posted asking about how to find people on Instagram again, but I'm actually going to record this, and then I'll put the recording up in the team page so you guys can go rewind and, you know, take notes and everything like that. So yeah, I think that I'm guessing because there's no more questions, that we're all set. Thank you so much for taking time out of your night and hopping on. I think that's another great thing is we're sidelines. It's not even like we're under you, so to speak. And we just really all appreciate you taking the time out to do this, and you're awesome.
Thank you. You guys are awesome too. If anybody has questions, you can always message me. So
that's awesome. Great. I'll probably be messaging you tomorrow on Instagram. Like, oh my God, what do I do? Like 15 different like Hello Kitty pages just followed me. Like,
no, you guys can message me whenever.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.